Come into the circle of love and justice. Come into the community of mercy, holiness, and health. Come and you shall know peace and joy. I'm Laura Ettinger, and I welcome you to this virtual worship service of the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg. Because we cannot meet in the church building, there have been program changes, including new programs to strengthen and serve members and friends of the church during this time of physical distancing. Every Sunday, there's a live virtual coffee hour following this service from 11:30 a.m. until 1 o'clock p.m. Please read your news you can use and other emails you receive from the church, and please check the website regularly for updates. Please send your joy or sorrow via the link in the email you received and indicate whether you give permission for it to be read in next week's service. If this is your first time joining us or your 101st time, we're glad you're with us. If you are carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders, or you're watching today with a song in your heart and a skip in your step, we're glad you are here. If you are the loudest voice in the town square or the subtle hand behind the scenes, we are glad you are here. If you have failed once or 1,000 times, we're glad you're here. If you sing like angels or mumble behind the hymnal, we're glad you're here. This community is what it is because of your presence, because you've joined us today. So welcome into this virtual space of love, support, justice, compassion, fellowship, and worship. We're glad you've joined us.
I invite those of you at home to light a chalice, a candle, or whatever you choose to serve as your chalice at home. We light the chalice as a light to guide our going and coming, a symbol of warmth to welcome, a flame to light up the world beyond that we already know, and a hearth around which we gather as a community.
Please join us in speaking our unison words of affirmation. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service is our gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to speak our truths in love, and to help one another. I am the navigator of the sea. I built the ocean from my tears. I go whichever way the wind might blow. I've been drifting for it seems 100 years, tragically not knowing I could steer. The waves feel like a love I thought I knew. I hold my breath while we ascend. Love is nothing but a memory now, like the port of every place I've ever been. And the sails feel like my only friend. I've been looking for a special place, just for me and no one else. And if you want me, you can find me. I'll be crossing the Atlantic without charts. I'm the Ferdinand Magellan of these parts. I'm just following my compass in the dark. The wind is with me under coral skies, and in my wake I leave behind
trail of others who will never seek, and because they never seek, they never find. And they argue that it's all a waste of time. Today marks 20 years of endless seas. And true, I'm weathered from her storms. My sails are ragged, but my sights are set on the comfort of a more forgiving shore, and a life more worth living for. I've been looking for a special place, just for me and no one else. And if you want me, you can find me. I'll be crossing the Atlantic without charts. I'm the Ferdinand Magellan of these parts. I'm just following my compass in the dark. I've been looking for a special place, just for me and no one else. If you want me, you can find me. I'll be crossing the Atlantic without charts. I'm the Ferdinand Magellan of these parts. I'm just following my compass in the dark.
Hello. Today's story is titled Only One You by Linda Kranz. It's time, Papa said. I think it is, Mama agreed. Time for what? Audrey asked. Papa's voice softened to share some wisdom. Always be on the lookout for a new friend. Look for beauty wherever you are and keep the memory of it with you. Blend in when you need to and stand out when you have the chance. Find your own way. You don't have to follow the crowd. Know when to speak. Know when to listen. No matter how you look at it, there is so much to discover. If you make a wrong turn, circle back. If something gets in your way, move around it. Set aside some quiet time to relax and reflect every day. Appreciate art. It's all around you. Make wishes on the stars in the nighttime sky. Thank you for listening, Mama said. We hope you will remember. Papa winked and whispered, We know this is a lot for you to think about. Audrey did a backward somersault and smiled. He was excited to go out into the world with what he had just learned. Wait for me, he shouted to his friends. Before he swam away, he turned back to his parents and said, I will remember. Mama kissed Audrey on the top of his head. There's only one you in this great big world, she said. Make it a better place.
Despite all your doubts and insecurities, you are like a great film or play that everyone needs to see. That's why the old teacher said, behold yourself. The mountains have hints of a beauty that's hidden inside you as well. The enchanting complexities of the coral reefs are pale lights. when compared to the golden candle in your heart. What moves in any ocean also moves through each of us. 1,000 kinds of music play every hour if we become awake enough to orchestrate our own inner resonance. So let the next ticket you buy be a center row seat that places you in the center before your own soul. Today in this congregation, someone is hurting or in sorrow. Today in this congregation, someone is anxious because of events in the world. Today in this congregation, someone is lonely. Today in this congregation, someone is filled with joy and wants to celebrate. For all the fear and sorrow in the world today, there are still moments of profound joy. We did not receive joys or sorrows to be read aloud this week. We hold the unspoken joys and sorrows that are often intertwined in our hearts and lift them up in thought, prayer, or perhaps even in song. We live and lean into the trust and the love found abundant in this church community. We trust in the acceptance of this community and trust in the continuity of life. When there is birth, life goes on. When there is death, life goes on. When there is joy, life goes on. When there is sorrow, life goes on. May we always live in trust and in love, that all joy might be shared and all sorrow comforted. This is our prayer. Amen. Blessed be.
The first time I got lost was shortly after I received my driver's license. I remember calling my 13-year-old brother and asking him for help. This was long before GPS or even cell phones. My brother was a human map. His sense of direction was impeccable. He asked me for a few landmarks and some street names, and within a few minutes I was able to navigate to my destination. I called upon him frequently during my first year driving in San Diego. You see, I grew up here in PA, living with my grandparents, and moving to California when I was 16 to live with my mom and one of my brothers. To this day, I get lost using a GPS. It's a skill. What can I say? Those closest to me, they can and will testify to my expertise in getting lost. I can't tell you how many times I thought I was lost to literally turn the corner and recognize something familiar. Clue 0. And don't even say go north, south, east, west. My brain does not work that way. I'll take a left, right, forward, backward. Thank you very much. Here's the odd thing. In the mountains, my sense of direction is truly accurate and thrives. Maybe it's because I feel more at home with nature, or spent years as a child and young adult backpacking through Pennsylvania and Maryland. Or maybe it was, in the end, I knew I would be okay and would find my way out. Not at all like the city. Perhaps I'm less comfortable with my directional abilities due to the stress it caused, especially early on. Being lost for me was terrifying. Any and all logic was quickly tossed out the window, and the only action taken was parking the car to cry. It was an incredibly frightening time for me, not knowing where I was going, and soon I didn't want to drive much, if at all. Then one day, I started keeping a 3x5 notebook with directions written that I could understand. It was of tremendous help to me. It took away the stress, and it gave me a sense of accomplishment to be able to find where I was going without anyone's help. There were flaws in that process, as I only wrote down where I usually went, and any place new remained a challenge. But that first step was priceless. Gaining confidence every time I chose to drive and follow directions. When I first heard following my compass, it hit me like a V8 moment. And if you don't know what that is, ask your parents or even your grandparents. I'm sure they'll know. I've been drifting for what seems 100 years, tragically not knowing that I could steer. At this point in my life, I had worked my way through some very heavy issues in therapy. And those lyrics were spot on. For years, it felt like I was drifting, not knowing I could steer. Clearly, an inner compass was vital. That's what I needed to rely on, not someone else. And it's taken me years to fully understand and integrate that into my life. Sadly, many of us had either lost track or didn't know we have an inner compass because no one ever told us about it. Our parents didn't teach us about it because they didn't know either. But it's true. We all have an inner compass, one that has undoubtedly spinning out of control as the deaths of George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, and many others ignited the Black Lives Matter movement. A raging pandemic in motion, and the politics of ridiculousness. How do we navigate when the needle never stops? So what's an inner compass? Well, some say it's the little voice inside your head that whispers when something feels right or wrong. Might be that gut feeling that you get when you know something just feels off. The spark in your heart and the fire in your eyes when you are so passionate about doing something that there's nothing else that you would rather be doing. Or the immediate that comes to you when reflecting on a decision to be made or a dilemma to be resolved. Your inner voice, your very own unique to you soul GPS. Sometimes, even as adults, we need to be reminded that we have an inner compass, one that can help us slow down, explore what we are feeling and thinking, and even drop anchor to repair our compass. Leaning into ourselves, recalling the storms that have passed, and how we journeyed through to the other side. When we are under stress, our reactions aren't always measured or true to our real values. It might affect our ability to focus and affect our productivity. the compass needle continues to spin and spin and spin. Bernice King said, "How do we navigate and process painful biases and conflicting emotions and press on to be sacrificial and suffer in the struggle? And what do we do with images and depictions that, known or unknown to those perpetuating them, many contribute to the impediment of human progress?" When thinking on how to navigate uncertainty, my mind immediately goes to sailing. To navigate a boat from point A to B, you need to know where you are now and the direction you're going. You need to be aware of any conditions that could affect your path, such as wind speed and direction, current, and obstructions like reefs or sandbars. Your inner compass is about noticing. It's about noticing honestly, about present moment awareness, about right now. It's about being mindful of what's going on within you. Right this moment, it's about being mindful of your own unique connection to the great universal intelligence. It's about being mindful and the fact that you have an inner compass, that it's always giving you direct, real-time information as to how things feel and what's best for you. It's about understanding what your emotions mean and that they matter. I read an article several years ago about 9 ways to trust your inner compass. The only way to navigate is to trust ourselves. Trust what you know about the person who's on the journey. The 9 ways are: get to know yourself. It's a never-ending process. It starts with a conscious decision to pay attention to the information being presented each and every time we feel something or gravitate towards something or become cautious or uncomfortable with something. Look for consistencies. Take time to notice in what situations you are most at ease. In what situations are you most inspired? You may not see the similarities at first, but look again and ask yourself, what specifically made you feel anxious, inspired, curious, calm? Was it a certain time of day? Certain people? Maybe a lack of proper respect? Motivating? Was it draining? Was it inviting? Exclusive? Keep track of your observations. They may take you to another path. Ask why. As you discover consistencies, do a bit of analysis and ask the question, why? Why did you feel secure even if others did not? Did it have to do with your knowledge or experience? What did you feel? Why did you feel intimidated? Why did you feel a sense of tranquility? Discovering the answers to these questions helps you to get to know yourself and leads to trusting yourself. If you can trust that you can handle or feel comfortable in certain situations or vice versa, you wouldn't feel comfortable or be your best self in certain situations, then you are in tune with your inner compass. Reflect on successes. When was the last time you exceeded something you thought you were capable of? When was the last time you took a risk against others' caution and demonstrated the risk was worth it? Reflect on moments to build your confidence and serve as a reminder that you already have an inner compass speaking to you. Assess mistakes. Not everything you reflect on is going to be a roaring success. Mistakes happen. The key is to take the time to assess why it didn't work and move forward with that knowledge. Take time out. You must quiet yourself to become in tune with your inner compass. Have a conversation with yourself and give yourself the time needed to work through it all. This would be an excellent time to put down your anchor. If we keep moving blindly from one mistake to the next, we aren't taking advantage of the available knowledge, almost guaranteeing that we will make similar mistakes again and again. Never stop learning. The best and most assured way to gain more self-confidence and bolster your inner compass is to continually become better acquainted with the world we all live in. When you come to understand how the world functions, how it functioned in the past, and how people had previously lived, currently live, and potentially can live, you put the odds in your favor that the decisions and direction you take are based on knowledge, not simply belief. And that is the difference between standing on quicksand or cement. Martin Luther King said, "Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the whole staircase." Find your faith. Even with all the knowledge you can gather, there will still be unknowns. Each of us is a unique individual with unique circumstances involved with others in the same construct. So in order to move forward trusting your inner compass, you must fill in the gaps with your faith. I'm not necessarily referring to religious faith, although it might be for some, but I'm talking about a universal faith that requires you to stride forward with confidence. Take action. With as much knowledge and insights as you can possess at any given moment, strike out in such a way that is not timid, but assured that you are endeavoring in the direction that is best for you. You have done your homework and know what life you want to live. Now go forward with resolute determination that while others may not understand, the most important ingredient is that you do. And there's one more I'd like to add. Get comfortable with change. It's the only thing that remains the same in this world. Allow yourself to take an active role in change. Julia Haber, Clinical 321. Julia Haber, Clinical Assistant Professor of Organizational Behavior at Fordham University, said there are times that we look forward to change, such as getting a new job that we wanted. But there are times when we anticipate change in a negative way, which affects us. The anticipation of a potentially negative outcomes is registered as a tension in our brain. It causes extra neural effort, kicking off survival mode. Our brains embrace inner fears of failure or abandonment. Amy Wallace, a professor of organizational behavior at Wake University, says even when you anticipate that the outcome of change will be positive, there's still a tendency to experience anxiety when you're asked to replace familiar practices with new ones. This can be due to discomfort with the unknown, in that we don't have a guarantee that the outcome we expect will materialize, or even due to the process of adopting new behaviors, which requires energy and focus. Here's the thing. Change will bring you into the circle of others who are experiencing the same things. Those around you who are not willing to change will fall away, and you will find yourself surrounded by those who motivate you to change. That's the beauty of change. In his book, 2 Minutes from the Abyss, 11 Pillars of Life Management, Vijay Esarwan says that change has a vibrational effect. With every change you make, you evolve into a new person. The degree of change intensifies as you go through the process of changing. Other people will pick up on your energy, And positive energy attracts positive changes and positive people, just as negative energy does the opposite. In our story, Only One You, we learned a lot of lessons about our inner compass, such as finding your own way. You don't have to follow the crowd. Know when to speak and when to listen. When things get hectic, focus on being calm. Make waves. Sometimes you have to. Embrace change. We live in a time of extreme changes, much needed changes, and some are just there to distract us, spinning that compass needle. Maybe it's time we had a chat with chaos and introduce them to our inner compass.
I was born by the river in a little tent. Oh, and just like the river, I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die, 'cause I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. I go to the movie and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me, don't hang around. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh yes, yes it will. Then I go to my brother and I say, brother, help me please. But he winds up knocking me back down on my knees. Lord, there've been times that I thought couldn't last for long, but now I think I'm able to carry on. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change is gonna come. Yes, it will.
Even as you are separated and sitting in your own homes today, the Unitarian Church of Harrisburg is still a freely gathered church of free people. The church is created, sustained, and supported by you. The ministry continues even when the building is closed. Each week, we share the offering with a community organization. During the month of August, the recipient is the Harrisburg Center for Peace and Justice. The Harrisburg Center for Peace and Justice educates the Harrisburg community about housing issues and opportunities and provides counseling and advocacy for individual clients. It responds to daily calls about rights and responsibilities of tenants and landlords, provides assistance regarding impending eviction notices, negotiates payment plans to maintain utility services, meets with clients with credit problems, and serves as a representative payee for clients with Social Security disability income who have experienced homelessness in the past. There is a link for contributing to today's plate collection in the video description. You may have to click on the word "Show More" to see it. The same link is in the email that went out to members this morning. Your financial support and commitment matter. Please be generous.
Below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor nor port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home. Sun, my sail, and moon, my rudder, as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the lights of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks to the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, greet the infinite sea before me, sing the sky my sailor's song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
We're staying home. Love has never asked this of us before. We're staying home. This is our gift to humanity. Let us wish each other well.
For those staying home alone, I offer you this blessing. May you grow a deeper understanding of your own worth. Dear one, leaven the aloneness with a gentle care, for this too shall pass. May you be blessed with peace and serenity. May you find the courage to reach out to hear another's voice and to remember others need you too. May you be well. May we be well.
For those staying home together, I offer you this blessing. May you find moments of patience and grace in your relations. May you offer each other enough time apart reassurance and space enough to cry, to safely rage, for this too shall pass. Then let peace come again into your home. May you see one another's whole self as a gift. May you be well.
For those working from home, I offer you this blessing. May you remember to take breaks. May you find the means to relish your imperfection and the imperfection of others as evidence of our shared humanity. You are enough, even when there isn't enough. Make order in your days and then let it go. May you be well.
For those staying home with children, I offer you this blessing. May you find humor and compassion in your days. There will be learning of a different kind, deeper no doubt, unexpected for sure. May there be patience and forgiveness again and again and again, for this too shall pass. May you all remember the deep love that brought your family into being. May there be peace and understanding in your home.
May you be well.
May we be well.
May it be so.
I give thanks to the waves upholding me. Hail the great winds urging